Trade talks are always flying in the NBA, but when it comes to the Boston Celtics, the name that's being thrown around the most right now is Gordon Hayward. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Mike Petraglia and Josue Pavon. The big question is, should the Celtics consider trading Gordon Hayward? What do you think that they could get for him, and would it be worth it?
That is a very difficult question, Sierra Goodwill. If you're talking about Andre Drummond or a Karl Anthony Towns type, it's going to have to be a blockbuster deal, obviously. Would those two players help the Celtics down low? Obviously, yes. That has been the number one deficiency of the 2019-2020 Celtics, right? They need another big who can defend the rim and can also score and rebound. I mean, Enes Kanter was great on Saturday night with 22 points and 19 rebounds, but it's the consistency. And if you're talking about Gordon Hayward, the thing that he brings to the Celtics is spreading the floor. And he does that so very well, and you saw that Saturday night. I'm hesitant to trade Gordon Hayward simply because of what he means on the offensive side of the ball. When this Celtics team gets stagnant, you put in Gordon Hayward, and usually he does a good job of spreading the floor. The question is, can Gordon Hayward produce at a 20-point plus level when you need him to?
It's like what we saw the first couple of weeks of the season, right, Trags? Like, can Hayward do that as well as, you know, alongside Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum? And I think there's a strong possibility of that because we've seen it. It's easy to say that. But I also think he's also just a secondary playmaker. I think he's so important, especially for this second unit. I know he doesn't come off the bench, but he can certainly help those guys. And I think as Brad Stevens starts to iron out his second unit and figure out everyone else's role, I think he's so easy to put in with those guys. And I think he's just really important for this team. I don't see Gordon Hayward as someone that's going to bring in a piece that's going to make this team ultimately or instantly a championship contending team. And if that's the case, then I don't think you should trade him.
And we're also assuming that Gordon Hayward's going to opt out after this year, right?
Right.
Are we safe to make that assumption?
I don't know if I'm going to assume, because I think it might be in his best interest for money reasons to opt in. Do you see another team out there signing him for close to $30 million? I mean,
yeah, but
I just don't see that.
But what if he gets a 2-year, 3-year deal worth more than what he would be guaranteed next year? I mean, you know, there are a lot of things to consider.
So this is kind of brings up the same question that we've been asking all year. Do the Celtics have one too many wings? This is the time of the season where you're in this phase where you want to make a move kind of sooner rather than later if you are to make one, because you want that time to kind of build chemistry before the playoffs. Is it true that the Celtics do have one too many wings? And if it's not Gordon Hayward, who should they consider trading? One of the other ones, or should they kind of just roll with what they've got as we've said all season long?
I say the Celtics do not have one too many wings because of what Josue alluded to, the bench.
Yeah.
And if you can spread out the number of wings, quality wings among the first unit and the second unit, I think that becomes incredibly valuable come playoff time. So my answer to that is no, they don't have too many wings. Could they use more depth at the center position? Yes. If the right trade comes along for Danny Ainge to pull off and pull the trigger on, then sure, you trade one of the wings. Maybe it's a high-profile name wing, and you trade maybe a draft pick, something like that, or one of your younger players, and bring in a big man. I can buy that. But just to trade a wing to make a deal and bring in a big man who is not somebody you would plug in on your first unit, I would not do it.
Yeah, and that's just not how Danny Ainge does things, right, Trags? I mean, we've seen his track record for quite some time now. He's not going to do a trade just to make a trade. He's not going to make a trade just to get rid of a wing, you know, and I think that would be a big mistake. This team is top-heavy, right, Trags? They're not the deepest team in the NBA, but from 1 through 6 or 1 through 7, there's not a lot of teams in the NBA that can compare to that. And I don't think that they should rattle that just to fill a void down low. And I don't mean to say that so lightly as if it's not important, but I do think the buyout market is certainly an option. We don't know exactly who's going to be available come March when Celtics can really grab someone and help that second unit. So that's always an option. I think that's an option that Danny Ainge will probably take, but I also just don't think a trade for a big is the ultimate solution for someone like Gordon Hayward, who can give you, obviously, so valuable to this team, and of course could be a very, very important piece in the postseason.
This Garden Report is brought to you by CBS Sports HQ, the brand new streaming sports news network. No logins or signups required. Just download the CBS Sports app and watch CBS Sports HQ today. For all the rest of our Celtics coverage, head to our website at clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel at CLNS Media.